Let's talk about Netflix a little bit. There's actually some news to go over with them, with Cowboy Bebop, the creator of Cowboy Bebop, not the Netflix version, the Japanese version. I was recently given an interview with Forbes talking about his time with them and his thoughts on Hollywood as a whole, which are pretty interesting. Always good to hear from people that have had their material touched by the Netflix machine, particularly when it comes to anime, because their anime's adaptations are always awful. But they refuse to stop. They have like a Naruto one coming out, a One Piece one, My Hero Academia. They're not giving up on Death Note. It's ridiculous. But Netflix is not in that good of a place. And I say that even though they had two of the biggest streaming shows last year, Wednesday and Dahmer, were massive cultural phenomena. Everybody was talking about them. Wednesday sparked a huge dance thing on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. But I want to get to this story for a second. I skipped over this. Netflix is about to end password sharing, and I think that's going to affect about 100 million people, maybe more. Yeah, 100 million plus. I think I read somewhere around 150 million. I'm not sure if that's an official number or not, but password sharing is going away for Netflix. In a letter sent to shareholders, the platform wrote, Tuesday's widespread account sharing, 100 million plus households, undermines our long-term ability to invest in and improve Netflix as we build our business. So we've worked hard to build additional new features that help improve the Netflix experience, including the ability for members to review which devices are using their account and to transfer a profile to a new account, Netflix added. They said the new crackdown on password sharing will be implemented by the end of the quarter, which occurs in March. The announcement doesn't come as a shocker, as the streaming platform has said for a while that they will eventually crack down on those who are trying to skirt around the system by not paying for a subscription. But this is the first time we know now. But this is the first time we now know when they will begin making the significant changes. The bottom line is you're going to have to pay more. Netflix users will no longer be able to share a single account amongst friends or family that don't live in the same household. The new plan will cost subscribers more. So, yeah, a lot of people are about to lose their Netflix. A lot of people. That's been a thing for a long time. It seems kind of desperate to me. Seems a little desperate. And I'm not the only one that's been saying that. I know. But just, I don't know. Just 2 hit shows isn't enough to sustain a platform. Netflix has been super woke for a long time, and it really has hurt their bottom dollar, which is why I think they're trying to, recoup some losses. But if you want to, you don't have to tighten down on people, Netflix. If you really want to bounce back, just make good content. Keep making good content. Stop making woke content, and you'll see a bounce back. Don't make shit like this either. So, the creator of Cowboy Bebop gave an interview with Forbes. It's actually a really good interview. He talks about a lot of stuff in it. But I want to focus on what he said about Netflix because he touches on this trash Cowboy Bebop show, which is a pile of shit. I don't know if you've seen it or not. I don't recommend it. They didn't even get to finish it. This one is historic because the show had been out for 3 weeks on Netflix. 3 weeks. And within that 3 weeks, they canceled the show. I've never seen a show get canceled so fast. It was funny. The show was out 3 weeks, and then they came down and said, no season 2. And the show ends on a cliffhanger, too. I think they made it to where Ed shows up. And then they had to cancel the show after that. So, you'll never see the show get finished. The show is shit. It's an awful adaptation. Just the anime version already exists. It doesn't need a live action version. It doesn't. And they were trying to use the show to say, oh, we're improving the original. We're making it more modern. We're filling in things that didn't exist anymore. Trying to say that things that happened in this show were canon, which is bullshit. And I like seeing the original creator come out and defend it. Said he was only able to stomach one scene of Netflix's live-action adaptation. It seems that it wasn't just fans who were unhappy with Netflix's absolute mishandling of the beloved space western series, as original Cowboy Bebop anime creator Watanabe has admitted that he couldn't bring himself to suffer through more than one scene of the streaming service's live-action abomination. The veteran anime director shared his opinion on the widely panned, canceled 3 weeks after its premiere adaptation during a recent career retrospective interview given to Forbes. Following a brief look back at his portfolio, including such works as Blue Comet, Leisner, Gundam 0083, which I didn't know he worked on, actually. That was cool to find out. And, of course, Cowboy Bebop. He was asked his thoughts on Netflix's Cowboy Bebop, to which he revealed that he was, to say the least, not a fan. For the new Netflix live-action adaptation, they sent me a video to review and check. It started with a scene in a casino, which made it very rough and tough for me to continue. I stopped there, and so only saw the opening scene, he confessed. It was clearly not Cowboy Bebop, and I realized at that point that if I wasn't involved, it would not be Cowboy Bebop, he added. I felt that maybe I should have done this, although the value of the original anime is somehow far higher now. Yes, that's true. So people now value the original more. They always did. But, Netflix keeps doing this. They keep grabbing anime and making live-action versions of it. There's more coming. Like I said, I think they're doing Naruto. They're doing My Hero Academia. They're going to revive Death Note. They did a Death Note movie, and I don't know if you've seen that movie or not. Definitely don't watch it if you haven't. But it is probably the biggest pile of shit I've ever seen. And now they're going to make a full series. Now, the one thing that has me curious about that show, though, is I guess the Stranger Things people are making it. Now, that could be interesting. They might do a good job. I'm not holding my breath, though. It's just, to me, I just don't think you need to make live-action versions of this stuff. It already exists, and it's perfect in the form that it exists in. Cowboy Bebop didn't need a live-action version. Never did. But I like him coming out and talking shit about it. He had no say over this getting made. That was all up to the studio, and the studio took that money and said, here you go. And what was funny is Netflix was pushing that the original creator was involved. He wasn't involved in this. He gave them notes that they obviously didn't listen to. I've done a bunch of videos on Cowboy Bebop Netflix because it was insulting. It never needed to be made. He's pretty funny, though. The rest of the interview here, well, at least what they've captured in the Bounding into Comics article, he talks about his time working on the Animatrix because he made Kid Story. So he worked on the Animatrix, and he talks about how at first they're like, you can do what you want, and then the original producer had to leave, so this new guy comes in, and he was trying to make him change all of this shit. He didn't want to, but he talks about how all these producers have their stupid requests, and he couldn't just make what he wanted to make. And he went to Hollywood to look at the editing process when they were finishing it up, and he told people that if he sees that producer, he's going to punch him in the face. He's going to punch him in the face if he sees him. Here it is. In handling this situation, Watanabe said that when I went to Los Angeles for the recording sessions, I told the team that if I saw that producer, I would just punch him in the face. The producer ended up not coming to the recordings, which is unheard of. This guy sent him, like, as he says here, so many requests. Change this, change that. It was very frustrating, and if these requests were coming from the Wachowskis, I would at least respect that as they came up with The Matrix. So who was this new producer compared to that? He explained that he was the gatekeeper to the Wachowskis, and unless he could be convinced, he wouldn't bring my work to them. Then the article brings up a really good point that Hollywood handles this shit so bad that Dragon Ball Evolution was such a disaster that Akira Toriyama came out of Dragon Ball retirement to work on Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super, Akira Toriyama isn't really the creator of Super. He's the creator of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and stuff, but he's more of like an advisor, kind of like overhead guy to Super, but he's involved. I don't think he planned to come back to Dragon Ball. They were going to do it with or without him. But the way that Evolution was handled was so bad that he came back because he's like, quit screwing up my legacy, you assholes. So he's like, he comes back and works on it. And, you know, Super has its problems, but it's significantly better than a lot of stuff that's out there today. Anyway, I just thought this was interesting and wanted to share it with you guys. I love seeing people come out and bag on Hollywood, and that's exactly what he just did. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Check out my Rumble and Locals, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my Locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my Locals.